Amendment 2. What is that all about? Well, I am so happy this morning to have Luke Hilgemann on. He is the executive director of International Order of Teddy Roosevelt and the national chair of Yes on 2. So you're about to find out a lot about Amendment 2. And boy, we have to get deep into this. Hey, it's Drew. How are you, Luke?
I'm doing great, Drew. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, I'm so glad you got up with us this morning on Florida's Voice. It's great to see you. And well, first of all, Luke, tell us about yourself. Like, what is it that you do? What do you like to do? What are your hobbies? I mean, let's go into some of the details on Luke.
Yeah. So I'm a second generation Wisconsin resident who loves to hunt and fish and get to the outdoors with my family as much as possible. For the International Order of Teddy Roosevelt, I'm the executive director, as you said. We fight to protect and preserve Teddy Roosevelt's legacy of outdoors for all. We believe in the user-pays system, the North American conservation model, that has shown throughout the course of history to be the best way for us to humanely and responsibly manage our wild lands and wild resources that God has given us. And so we fight for that every day. We like to say we're in the arena fighting to protect and preserve these traditions that have come under direct assault in the last several decades here in America, especially where we see groups like Wildlife for All that are trying to criminalize, yes, make it a crime to catch a fish or harvest wild game, which goes against everything that seems to be American.
Criminalize catching fish, like, or to be able to hunt so you could, I don't know. Gosh, why would you do that? What's one reason why you might do that in life, Luke? Let's see. To eat food. Oh, that's an interesting thing to start off with. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, it sounds ridiculous because, when we're talking about Amendment 2, and maybe you can talk about what Amendment 2 is here in the state and what specifically is going on as people will say to me, and I'm sure they say to you, you just mentioned fighting for the legacy. We have to fight for this? Like, what is the problem here? Why do we even need this?
Yeah, so unfortunately, like I said, the threats to our fishing, hunting, and conservation lifestyle are under constant assault from a well-funded, well-organized, and determined opposition to our lifestyle. Even if you don't fish or hunt, the reality is that you are exposed every day, especially in Florida, to projects that are funded by anglers and hunters, from boat landings to beach walks, you name it. Our dollars are out there every day funding these conservation projects. So what we see with Amendment 2 is a way to forever protect fishing and hunting as the preferred methods of managing wild game in Florida responsibly, ethically, and humanely. That's the key points of this for people who, even if they don't fish or hunt in Florida, know that fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And let me reinforce the point that you're making, because when we just say, like, why do we need this? It's not just here. I mean, this is something that's nationally as well, right? I mean, these are the individuals, people, groups that have an agenda that are pushing against what you would feel are fundamental rights, and how it's something that you have to recognize is happening and take a stand against it, right? So it's something that you're seeing all over the place.
Without a doubt. These ideas, unfortunately, the effort that I mentioned, making it a crime to catch a fish or harvest wild game, is happening in the state of Oregon. This is an organized effort by the animal rights organizations out there trying to, again, make it a crime to catch a fish. And we see these bad ideas move from one side of the country and they sweep across the country very quickly. And so that's why we are in Florida. We see Florida, again, it's known as the fishing capital of the world. And if they want to continue to protect and preserve that identity and part of their culture and who they are in Florida, you guys need to make sure that you vote yes on Amendment 2 and forever protect fishing and hunting, so that efforts like we're seeing in Oregon and other states, Colorado in particular, trying to ban different sorts of predator hunting, you need to make sure you stand up, speak out, and protect these rights before they're gone.
Yeah, yes, on Amendment 2, we want to make sure that we protect our hunting and our fishing here in the state, because again, you can't say it enough that there are forces that will not go away. They're not going to stop. Sometimes it does take an amendment, a legislation, strong-willed individuals who see what is the threat to something that seems so basic so fundamental in our lives. So you say you were in Wisconsin. Is that where you are right now, Luke? You're in
Yep.
Wisconsin. And so, even I could ask you this, just to check your bona fides here. Like when you go out to fish, what do you like to fish? Do you like to hunt? Like, what is it that you're catching there in Wisconsin, for example?
Yeah, I'm a walleye guy, so we love our walleyes here in Wisconsin. I have a
Yeah.
cabin on the lake in northern Wisconsin, and that's what I do pretty much all summer with my kids. Is we love to fish, but it's September here now in Wisconsin, and we just had our hunting season kick off here. Bow hunting starts for us in 2 weeks, and that's my passion. That's what I love to do is to get to the outdoors with my kids. We're fortunate
Yeah.
to have some great ground here in Wisconsin to hunt. And these are the experiences that we want to forever protect by passing amendments to make it a constitutionally protected right to hunt or fish. And people ask me, well, why do we need this? Well, you would never believe that you would need to protect these rights. Unfortunately, as I've said, there is a well organized, determined effort out there that's trying to take these rights away every day. And so Amendment 2 is straightforward. There is no secret. There is no secret objective behind this. It's just truly to protect fishing and hunting so that these outdoor experiences that connect people with nature are forever protected in states like Florida and others. And again, I think it's
Yeah.
important, Drew, to understand that Florida isn't unique in this. If they
Right.
pass, when they pass, hopefully Amendment 2 here this fall, they will become the 25th state to have a constitutionally protected right to fish and hunt.
That is a huge statement right there, because it shows how the forces are strong against what should be a natural right here, a constitutional right, no doubt, and how they play the side against what would be hunting and fishing, and how people are stepping into that gap to make sure that we're able to protect it. So yes, on Amendment 2 here in the state of Florida. And I just want to mention something else, because I don't want this to slip by in the discussion, because another part of hunting and fishing, and I know you're going to know exactly where I'm going with this because of what you just described, and walleye season and getting out there, and I can tell you that I have my brother-in-law and the family, and how they do hunting trips often. They will go, it's certainly here in the state where let's say it's just fishing and getting together with the kids and having everybody get together, my family, and they'll go on fishing trips. Sometimes they'll go outside of the state, for example, and they'll go on special hunting trips. And the part that I don't want people to miss is being with family, the connection that you have, that aspect of this as well, that would be denied and taken away because of what some people would want to deny us. I hope that makes sense, because I think that's an important aspect. When I think of fishing, I don't go out by myself. I love to take my son loves to go fishing. The opportunity to go together, to have family time together. Trips when you take them with family and you go hunting, there's nothing better than that. The early mornings and getting up and getting prepared and the preparation beforehand. And it's a time to bond, to be together. And I don't want people to miss that aspect of it either.
So true, Drew. And for me personally, to me, when I get to the outdoors, when I take my kids especially, it's some of the most important memories that we'll make as a family. It's those experiences in nature where creation becomes undeniable, and you have the opportunity to go out and harvest wild game that you know where it came from. It's a renewable, reliable resource of protein for you and your family. And these are the experiences that we're hoping to protect by passing Amendment 2 in Florida, and then using that as a blueprint to protect these rights forever in as many states as we possibly can, so that, again, these things aren't taken away from us.
Yeah. And you always want that person that knows how to catch, how to be able to do it, because you never know. And you never know in the world, and you never know in life where you're going to be, where it's like, does anybody know how? Nobody knows how to do it. So there's no stories around. What do we do? Well, you're out of luck. Maybe I'm being too extreme, but I'm kind of exaggerating the fact. But I do love the time together, and I do love how there is the focus on hunting and fishing, and there's less of a focus on electronic devices. You'd be surprised how you can make connections with family when you're doing things like hunting and fishing. in areas where that's the focus and they enjoy that and getting out into the outdoors as well. So are you a good fisherman? You a good hunter? Are you good at the skill and the craft, Luke? I'm calling you out now. I'm just double checking. I want to make sure.
Yeah,
I know if
I
I go
think,
out with you, I'm catching walleye, right?
absolutely. I'll put you on the fish for sure. And again, for me, it's less and less about the trophies that we're able to harvest or bring home. It's more about the experiences that I get with my friends, family, and especially my kids in the outdoors. And again, I think the other important part here is that this isn't just about these traditions. It's also about the economic impact that these industries create. Fishing in Florida is a $14 billion annual industry. And when we brought this idea to the legislature in Florida, where I think it's important for your listeners to know that the amendment passed 154 to 1 in the Florida legislature. That's really what moved the legislature. And I think Democrats, Republicans came together because they understand the importance of these industries, not just to the fabric of Florida, but also to the dollars and cents and the jobs that these industries create. So I think the other important thing for people to realize is that Amendment 2, when you vote yes on this, it means that you want to protect these industries, the jobs that they create, the traditions that are continued, and making sure that, again, you have a humane and responsible way to manage Florida's wildlife and wildlands forever. It's a constitutionally protected right. The other thing that people ask is, well, we already have this as a state law that is fishing and hunting is protected. Well, we both know that unfortunately is open to the whims of politics. If you get a far left governor in Florida in the future, which pray doesn't happen, but at the same time it could, they could easily turn that statute over or upside down. And again, those rights would not be protected. So that's the importance of voting yes on 2, is to make sure that the people of Florida speak out and say that we want these traditions protected in Florida for the future.
Yeah. So vote yes on 2. And before we go, what was the vote? It was 100 and how many?
154 to 1. It passed unanimously out of the state house, and it was only one Democrat, Lauren Book, who voted against it in the state Senate.
Yeah, I think about the one person that voted against it. Is that like the 4 out of 5 dentists surveyed recommend sugarless gum for the patients who chew gum, and there's the one dentist who's like, give him the sugar. Who cares? I mean, whatever. I mean, is that the smart person in this debate? Or obviously it's not. But I don't know. I half joke. All right. Well, that's... Anyway, Luke, listen, I appreciate you joining us on Florida's Voice. I think this is important. Yes, on Amendment 2 here in the state, the right to hunt and fish. And again, you do this in this particular case because there are forces that want to take it away. And if you don't do it this way, unfortunately, there will be people that might be in power here legislatively, let's just say, who might want to do things differently in Tallahassee, and we want to make sure that we preserve it. So good stuff. Luke Hilgemann is joining us here on Florida's Voice. Luke, we appreciate you there at the International Order of Teddy Roosevelt. We'll see you soon, okay? All the best.
Thank you, Drew.